one we really never talk about, Ron. I know people who have made millions and millions of dollars there. It is dirt. Like it's just brown dirt. That's why people buy it, to just do whatever with it.
The key to seller financing, I think, is getting your money back from the down payment. Trying to get that $20,000.
You get that back, yeah.
Trying to get that $20,000 back from the down payment so you're not in the negative.
Entitlements. Big money in this. It's longer. It's more strenuous. But essentially start entitling it and sell it to a developer. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Real Estate Investing Podcast. Today's topic, we're talking about the land investing opportunities that we don't talk about here at Land Investing Online. I'm your host, Dan Rapke, joined again by my brother and business partner, Ron Rapke. And Ron, when I say the land investing opportunities we don't talk about, it's really just land investing is such a broad world. And we bring different topics in and we have different people and talk about different opportunities in land investing all the time, and it pivots and things change. But these that we're talking about today are just things we're not focused on.
Yeah. And we're constantly adding things to our tool belt, adding things to our members' tool belt, everything like that. And maybe this is one of these things, like someone comes in and like we get really into one of these avenues. So that's why I'm excited to talk about these things, because there are a lot of ways to make money in land, obviously outside of what we teach. We love what we teach, obviously, but there are a ton of things outside of it also that people are making a ton of money on.
Yeah, exactly. And the ones we talk about, and we're going to take these and kind of compare them to what we talk about. And the ones we talk about are just buying and flipping. It's the number one. Subdivides, survey hacking. Am I missing anything?
No.
A little bit of seller financing we touch on here and there.
Double closing.
Oh, double closing's the biggest one, yeah, outside of flipping. Yeah. Yes. Double closing's huge. If you guys aren't doing the double closing the way we teach it, do it. There's Marcus G in the group the other day, had a landlocked property was throwing out, and I guess we pushed him to look for the double closing. He made $20,000 from a lead that he was going to throw out.
Buy for 70, sell for 90, I believe. So it wasn't like a buy for 20, sell for 40. It was a buy for 70, sell for 90. He didn't have any money out of his pocket. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. But that's one of the examples of what we talk about: double closing, flipping, survey hacking, subdividing, etc. If you guys are here, a lot of you have listened to us. If not, welcome in. And today we're going to talk about the non-traditional ones we don't talk about. And I want to hop right into it. One we really never talk about, Ron, where I know people who have made millions and millions of dollars there, is desert squares.
Yeah. And desert squares, for everyone, essentially, like we're in Cincinnati, Ohio. The east side of the country is split up differently. Desert squares are essentially squares of parcels in the desert. They can be small parcels, they can be big, but if you look on a parcel map, you go out to rural Arizona, it's just New
20,
Mexico,
40,
all these,
80,
they're bigger
acres.
Parcels. They can be smaller, they can be 10 acres, whatever, but they're cheap land, 10 acres for $8,000.
And they're perfect squares a lot of times. There's no, like when you come to the East Coast, you have a lot of zigzags and different things going on the East Coast, but the desert squares are literally straight circles.
If you want to know what we're talking about, go to Zillow right now, go to for sale, go over to New Mexico and just look at what's for sale out there. Change your filter to land, you'll see a bunch of squares. It's pretty much all it is.
And there's nothing. It is dirt. Like it's just brown dirt and...
From what I've heard, and we do have some members who came from this strategy and still do some of this strategy. Marco is one that I think of who came from desert squares. He does a lot in Arizona.
And we continue to push him that way too.
Yeah, and then he started he's doing a combination of that and what we traditionally teach, because he's got a skill set in that. That's what he does. He's out there. He understands the markets. So there's a ton of value in that. Desert squares are cheap. Desert squares are easier to acquire typically and hard to sell.
There's a lot of inventory on the market and there's not as much demand, but you can make really good money and you can get desert squares that are in good areas with the high demand also. But in general, it does take longer to sell. That's why things like seller financing go hand in hand with desert squares a lot. You see like the buy for $199 a month, nothing down, like those are for desert squares. And then the people buy it and a lot of times they default and you rinse and repeat. But in general, desert squares is very, very similar to our strategy, just with a different type of land. Yeah. And like you can come in our program and learn everything you have and just send that marketing out to desert squares, and you'll get essentially the same type of results, I think.
The one thing that could be different with, depending on price, is you might have to close the property yourself. You might not be able to have margin.
Oh,
in the
you're
property.
talking about the cheap ones.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about like, there's
Don't
people
do
who
those.
buy for 800, sell for 2,000.
Don't do those. Yeah. That's a good point. I was thinking that a nice expensive.
No, I'm not
30,
thinking.
40,
I wasn't thinking about that.
Okay, so desert squares. I'm gonna reshift my mind a little bit for that. Desert squares are a lot of them are $1,500 for like 4 acres or something, or 2 acres, or 5 acres is $3,000. It's insane. And then you go and you flip it and you sell it for $6,000. You make $3,000 of profit without any fees or anything. And then you have the title work. You have no room for title. If we're talking about that type of desert square properties, I'm out.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's the one on this list that I'm like, don't do that one. But you can go and do desert squares, 20,000, like Marco. He's not buying and flipping 3 for 6, is he?
He's like 8 for 15, 8, 5
He's
for
like
5,
10 for
7
22.
12. Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know it was that cheap. I thought he had like a $40,000-$50,000 property.
Yeah. I mean, as you get closer to Phoenix, as you get closer to areas where people actually are, like the really cheap ones are out there.
Well, you got Vegas too. I think he does his in Nevada.
No, he does in Arizona. He knows the Arizona zip codes really well.
Oh, we were looking at Nevada is what it was.
Yeah.
Because he lives out there. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, desert squares are what they are. They're desert squares. There's expensive ones. There's cheap ones. I bet the average desert square deal is probably like buy for 2, sell for 4 or 5.
Yeah, well, look on a map. You're in the middle of a desert with nothing going on. You're talking $700 an acre, like for 2 acres. Like sometimes it's crazy.
Yeah, it's cheap, and like Dan said, if you're in the cheap strategy as far as the buy for 2, sell for 4, like it's a lot of work for not a lot of money. Could you do more deals? Absolutely. Can you make money in it? For sure, but it's a grind.
Yeah, and you can go and get 40. There are 20 and 40 acre parcels, so maybe you get a 20 acre parcel for 14 grand or something and sell for 25. Like there's still those opportunities too that are more expensive if you up the acreage.
Yeah, you can get a lot of land out there for really cheap.
Yeah, and do nothing with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, I saw someone, Nick Gepper from Cincinnati. He's an Olympic freestyle skier. I used to go to camp with him, but he bought a desert square out in Nevada maybe, or somewhere out there, like desert. And what he did, he just built a whole, and this is what people do. It's for recreational land. Obviously, they don't do this thing, but people will buy it and just like put their little RV trailer and go on weekends, or just go and create a fire. And
no restrictions.
There's no restrictions. You're out there. So it's just a spot to get away. But what he did, it was really cool. He bought this desert square. I was like, why would he buy this? And then next thing you know, I see a bunch of equipment coming in. He built a big ramp going down into because he's a professional skier, big ramp going down into a massive ramp, and then there's a big inflatable floaty. He does his 3 backflips and lands on the inflatable with skates on or skis.
There you go.
So that's just one. But that's what people. That's an example. Like that's why people buy it, to just do whatever with it. Hunt, whatever, camp out, RV. Some people just buy it for the sake of having land. Whatever.
What are you hunting? What are you hunting on desert squares?
I have no idea. Rattlesnakes. No, probably rabbits and coyotes. I don't know what's out there. I have no idea.
What's next?
So next we got seller financing, and this is one we talk more about. It's a strategy we haven't focused on because the market's been so good, but as markets start to shift, you may see us focus on it more and more. I personally like the cash of flipping and putting it in, but you talk about building notes. I'm not against this strategy at all. You build a bunch of notes and have a bunch of seller financing deals run, and you build up a pipeline, $20,000 profit a month. It's cash flow.
Yeah. The thing about it is they do expire. As far as like when it's paid off, it's paid off. That property's not, you're not leasing it out. Like these are notes. Like you will own the property, and
you're a bank.
Yeah, 100%. You can build up a really good, consistent cash flow with this, but I think your ceiling is capped as far as like how much money you can make each month. Because I mean, you sell 20 notes. I don't know what the max
600
is.
a month.
Yeah, you have an average of, you get up to 12, 13. It builds on itself, but then they expire in 5 years because they've paid it off or
So you
whatever.
need a consistent
Then you need
influx.
to manage. You need to keep on scaling up the volume for you to scale up your business, essentially, because the ones are going to fall off.
But you can sell the notes too, which is cool.
Yeah, you can definitely sell them. You can probably sell the package for quite a bit.
Yeah.
There's definitely ways to build things up in that. And you also can usually sell the property for more. This is 11,
And faster.
12% per loans.
Well, yeah, and you make more.
Yeah.
If you look at the time. But if you're getting 11% interest on your note and you're stacking those up against each other, I mean, that's going to beat the market all day. So you are making money off your money.
tax wise, no different. It's just like
I don't know anything about that. We don't. When we sell on seller financing, we flip it to someone who buys the notes. That's our strategy because we like the cash coming.
we sell
in.
the note.
We sell the note. Yeah. So we'll sell the seller financing and do the whole package and then sell the note. That's our strategy because we want the cash and we're not managing notes. That's not our business model right now, and we're not built for that. And we don't want to be built for that. We went against that. But there are people who just sell the note, keep it, because what you do, you get 30%. I'm versed on this one because we built all the modules out to do it, and I met with several people on this, and we've done it. But what you do is essentially you'll have a company, collecting every month. You'll sell it as a note. You'll have the interest. You can't just put any interest on it. It has to be within market type of standards also, or else you can't just say, hey, 15% interest on this. But the cool thing is you collect it. Yeah, you got to be careful with how much interest. There's laws, especially in some states, that protect buyers from that, because you can get taken, low credit people can get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Well, it's crazy what they can do in other things, credit cards, cars, all that other stuff they can screw you on.
Yeah, but they're giving you a big limit. That's a little different because it's free spending. It's yeah, I agree.
Car loans are ridiculous.
Those aren't that crazy.
Some people they screw over pretty bad, 15-20%. I've seen them.
You sure?
Yeah.
What's interest right now?
From a car, you'll probably get 6, maybe right now 6.5.
Is that an actual car loan, or is it a loan for the person that they're using for the car?
I don't know.
I'm just curious on that. But yeah, so what you do though, and what I was trying to get at is you'll get a big down payment and then have the interest compiling every month as well. But the down payment can be 30%. That's what you can get. Like, that's up to you. So there's no standards showing that you can't collect 50%. If they have 50% down, take it. You know what I mean? You'll be able to get more market value because it opens the door to more sellers or buyers eventually. Yeah. And then you collect a 10, 11, 12%. I don't know what it's at right now. And then you have a big down payment and you're set, and then you just collect 11% interest over the next 5 years.
I think I know what else is on the list as far as things that, like, we can talk about at the end too, but this is one of my favorite ones that we don't teach, and that's why we're so close to teaching it, I think, is because having consistent cash flow, like, you can do this with Desert Squares. You can combine this with Desert Squares and sell a bunch of Desert Squares, make $200 a month, and get your money. The key to seller financing, I think, is getting your money back from the down payment, or getting really close to your money back. You buy a property for $20,000, you sell it for $50,000 on financing, trying to get that $20,000.
You get that back, yeah.
Trying to get that $20,000 down back from the down payment, so you're not in the negative until those cash payments.
Yeah, and then
come
it's just all cash.
Yeah,
which I like.
That's what I like about it. Is if your
principal is covered.
100%.
Yeah,
that's what I like.
And that's a lot of times what we've seen.
Yeah.
Just from what people do. And this is one of those things I haven't seen it more. I'm not against teaching it, and we have all the modules built out on it, but we haven't released it because I don't think it's the best way to freedom.
Yeah.
Just from like what we've seen. You can flip it now, make 20 grand. I think it's important if you're out in those Desert Squares and have crap properties. It will help sell your properties faster. But holding notes is not it. Maybe for someone who's a little older and has money and just wants the cash flow, but someone looking to get out of their job and make serious money now, I don't think it's the best strategy, and that's why we've kind of held back.
Yeah, I mean, you have an asset that you bought for $20,000 that's worth $50,000. Like, give me the $50,000 all day long right now. Give me the $45,000 versus selling on a note. Like, I just at scale, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it's one thing if you're buying closer to market value and you literally just want cash flow or something like that. It's a little different, and you're just taking that interest essentially, and that's your profit. Versus
that's an interesting strategy. Buy at 80%.
Yeah, buy at 80%, sell it as a note, and you get a little bit of money back, and then you have a 12% interest, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But there's different strategies for sure.
Next on the list, we have Infill lots. This is probably the biggest one on the list because this is a massive industries and wholesaling Infill lots.
It's bigger than what we do for
Definitely,
sure.
Yeah.
Not even close. There's
a lot less profitable.
100%. And
talk about $3,000 assignments.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a bigger. I don't know. As far as the number of parcels, there's definitely a ton of parcels in the country. It seems like most Infill lot flippers are in Florida. High volume of them in Florida. I don't know where else they're doing deals, but Florida has so many Infill lots. And some people are making really good money. Other people are transitioning from that to like more of our strategy. I think Infill lots, I don't want to say it's, trickling away. I don't want to say that, but I think there's just the ceiling's very low.
Different ways to do it too. Because like if I was doing Infill lots, I would do it different than how a lot of people, they're finding builders first, which is fine. But I'm so confident with how we evaluate land and our comping and everything else. I'm confident that I can do other strategies and not just flip it to a builder.
So you find funders instead of builders, essentially.
I don't know about funders, or just go straight to the market.
Yeah.
You know, and just double close. Well, that's what they're doing anyways. They're just wholesaling it there. So why not open it to the market? And I know builders, if you have good building relationships, though, there's a lot of advantages in that. But the problem with the builders now is they're getting all these junk people calling them and saying, hey, I'm looking to flip land in your area. You looking to buy? What's your criteria? And the builders are overwhelmed. How many calls do you think
they get?
In certain areas in Florida, I'm sure a lot. And that's why they don't get responded to. Someone asked on the Q&A, like, no builders answering me. I'm like, yeah, they're getting hit by all these other infill lot wholesalers. But there's other strategies. Infill lots is very broad too. You know, like you don't need to do it the whole builder first way. That's a low risk way, but it's also low profit. I mean, some of these guys are making $2,000, $3,000 a flip, which is just insanely disrespectful for your time.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're putting in that much time and effort to make $2,000, $3,000 with these other strategies, learning experience, I understand. Like, go for it, learn. It's worth it from that. But if that's your strategy long term, like, what is your time? You got
to value your time for sure. I really, really don't like calling builders first. I think, especially like you said, like with builders getting overwhelmed with these calls,
in Florida,
you're bringing them no value. Like they're just supposed to
tell you. The
good
ones will, but the bad ones are just sending them any lead, and that's where it's probably false.
But they call them first to find out what they want, and then it's like, okay, that just.
I mean, we get the calls too to see if we want to partner with them. I get messages all the time on these lots, and they'll send me an address and be like asking price, and like that's all they send, and it's like under a wetland.
Yeah. People aren't going to give you the time of day if you're not bringing them something. Like you bring them 3 deals or something that makes sense or whatever, or just look where they've built. If I'm going to a builder, instead of going to builders and like asking, what are you looking for? What do you like? Just go look what they've built. It's not that hard to find out what houses they've built recently, what areas
I think that's what the good ones do, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do.
For sure.
They see the neighborhoods there and they'll target that neighborhood. They call them.
Calling the owners.
Others call the owners of the land and trying to get them under contract, and then having the builder saying, "Oh, I know in this subdivision the builder's paying $20,000 a lot," and then you make $3,000. But you know, there's ways to make big money in infill lots too. I really believe that. I just don't think the way that's taught now with the wholesaling and builder method is, especially when a recession comes, you are going to dry. No doubt in my mind.
You're relying on builders.
That's where you see the recessions hit the most. People aren't building houses.
Yeah.
You know, that's like you look at historical building throughout recessions and everything, it dies.
Yeah.
And then also they're trying to get things a lot cheaper too. And everything just dries up. That's why I don't like it.
Yeah,
I talked to a guy who did it for, it's J.R. Horton or H.R. Horton? J.R. Horton. I feel dumb.
I'm not sure.
H.R. Horton. But Horton in North Carolina, and that's what he's done for a long time. And that's all he does. And he does these subdivisions and he sells them all to them, one at a time as they're building. And he didn't tell me this, but one of his good friends who owns a restaurant in St. Pete said during the last recession in 2009-10, he completely went out of business. And now he's making millions. I mean, he'll sell 200 he'll do major subdivides and put all the utilities and roads and engineering in place, and then he'll flip them. He'll have a contract that they're going to buy all 100, but then they don't pay until they actually start to build, essentially. And during 2009-10, like he lost his house and stuff. And that's the one thing I remember from the restaurant owner talking to me, who was his best friend, was like, yeah, he dried up in the recession. I always had that in the back of my head.
Jeez. Yeah, I agree.
It's really good when the economy's flourishing.
It's not a recession-proof industry. Anything else to add on that one?
No, I think we're good on that one. Next, we have mineral rights. Do you want to talk on that?
Yeah, I mean, mineral rights are a long-term play. We are not, to be 100% transparent, guys. Like I understand the bare minimum as far as like how to make money from mineral rights. Mineral rights, to give you background, like mineral rights and surface rights are different, and they can be split up. So in a lot of the country, there's areas, Pennsylvania's one, where someone owns the surface rights, which is the land that you guys probably understand about, like what land is, and then someone can own the subsurface or the mineral rights. And these can actually be 2 separate deeds. 2 separate people can own these, where one person can have a house on the property and someone else can dig for oil or whatever it is on the property. So that's essentially how it is. Mineral right leases you can have, and you can make good money on mineral right leases. But honestly, Dan, as far as like past understanding the deed and how it can be split up, I don't know a ton about it.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And there are areas like Oklahoma, Texas, where that's all people do is buy subsurface rights. But That's what a landman is.
Yeah.
A landman is someone who just looks at surface rates for oil companies.
Subsurface, mineral.
Subsurface, yeah, mineral rates.
Yeah.
So anything under the
There's
surface.
billionaires doing mineral rights. Like there are rich,
the title landman, and I didn't know that till we were looking for salespeople. Landman is a big.
Yeah, look at landman jobs. Just type in landman jobs.
Yeah, and it's just subsurface. They're selling essentially. They're trying to acquire a lot of times.
Yeah,
and looking and analyzing, and then there's landman, and then there's subsurface engineers, and all this different stuff, and it plays oil companies, mineral companies, all these guys. That's billions of dollars of industry. So there's a lot going on.
We interviewed one of them, right? And it was interesting learning about it a little bit. It wasn't a fit for what we do. But
what do you work for, like a Shell or something?
Yeah, I don't know. They're big companies that
BP or something.
Yeah. So they make these offers essentially what they do, what we do, but they're just looking to buy mineral rights from people, and they understand where the valuable ones are.
It's really cool.
If you send mail to Oklahoma, if you target Oklahoma, you're going to get a lot of properties back where there might be something happening with the mineral and the seller's separate from whoever owns the mineral rights.
It's crazy to think as we look at the surface rates, people look at the mineral rates and don't even care about the surface. No. Like their mindsets just completely shift from what we're looking for, and that's what they do, and they just see where the money is.
It's crazy. There's different like legalities with what they can do it on, and I think do on it. And that's what I always get nervous when they're separated mineral and land, because I'm obviously interested in reselling the land to an end buyer who wants to build, who wants to wreck land, whatever it is. And when they're separate, if it's being used, if the mineral rights are being used, like that is a red flag for us, I think.
When you have all those tanks and things going on, I don't like that at all. Yeah. But there are people like the owning surface rights and not mineral is fairly normal out, in certain areas. And I know a lot of people who buy surface rights only and flip them and do very well. You just need to be cautious and know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Like anything.
Like we said, though, we're not overly educated on that topic.
No, I don't really want to be honest, because we don't do a lot of deals in those areas, and there are people who do them, and it's just not our
They're so specialized, too. Like the people who are doing things out there.
And it's different area by area. Pennsylvania mineral is different than Oklahoma, which is different than Texas. Like people are looking for different things in different areas.
Ohio even. Like there's a lot in Ohio.
Yeah, the coal mines and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Perry County, remember Perry County when we were there?
Yeah.
All of those, they tear the land up.
Yeah.
Those guys. All right, last we have entitlements, which is just buying a bigger piece of land in a desirable area, entitling it, getting the permits ready, 12 to 8 month process a lot of times, and then selling it to a developer who's going to build. And this is big money in this. It's longer. It's more strenuous. You got to put more money in, but essentially get them under a long-term contract and start entitling it and sell it to a developer.
Yeah, entitling is essentially rezoning it for what the most value, whatever it is. A lot of times these are going to be done in city limits. It's not rural America.
Rezoning and permitting for the whatever you've.
Is that what's defined as?
That's what I'm guessing. That's what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, if an end developer wants to put, or you just entitle it to the best value of what you can. So you're, it's a big parcel in city limits, 30, 40 acres, and entitling it would be getting it approved for 50, breaking up into 50 lots, having 50 houses on there, and then the permits, I don't know if it's utility permits as well, or what kind of permits, or permits just to build and start breaking ground.
180 unit permit.
Yeah, developers love that. That's what developers look for. Developers
they don't want to wait 12 to 18 months.
Developers don't want to do it because they have to build houses. Developers don't want to do it from the start. There are probably companies that do it, I'm sure, from the start with raw land, and they entitle and do it all the way through. But when developers get a 50-acre parcel with 50 lots approved for it and all this, it's very simple for them. They can break ground much sooner, obviously, and there's very
for apartment
low risk.
Complexes, subdivides, all of that. That's the industrial, hospital, all this stuff needs to go through an entitlement process at some point.
It's definitely done in different locations than what our typical
deal is. You need to be
is.
Desirable.
Yeah.
You need to have buildings going on, especially if you're looking for the houses or apartment complex. Like there needs to be development and a demand for that. And in a lot of rural America, there's not a lot of building and stuff going on. So you want to be in more desirable areas. You know it's going to flip quick.
As far as like making 7 figures, 8 figures on a deal, like that is the legitimate deals in entitlement.
You're providing a ton of value.
Yeah, like you can make $1 million in a deal. Like most deals, you probably are going to make $1 million if you're done right. If it's done right in good areas, like Dan said, it can take 12 to 18 months. You have 2 deals going on at once. Like it makes a ton of sense. We haven't done these before as far as detailed as this, but it is very, very high.
Yeah, there's people
who
specialize. That's all. Yeah, if you go down that route, I would recommend only go down that route because it's a lot of stuff going into it, and it's a specialty. It's a it's a highly profitable, highly specialized niche. And I think you want to dive in. If you're going to go in something like that, a lot of these other ones, whatever, trickle with them and you can mess around with them. This one's some serious stuff though.
Do you buy the property or do you wait?
You get a contract for it. No, you don't buy it.
Yeah, so you go through.
You can do whatever. I mean, but a lot of times people just put down a lot of money to hold it, essentially. And I'm talking like sometimes people will put down good 6 figures though.
Yeah.
To get it under contract and keep it.
Yeah.
For 12 months or whatever, 6 months under contract or what, I don't know, whatever it goes in, but yeah.
And the seller can get a ton of money from this too. They don't want to do that work. They don't know how to do the work. But yeah, this of all these things on here, I mean, if you're talking about landman, that kind of stuff, that's extremely skilled as well.
That's true.
But as far as like the skill that goes in, the knowledge you need, like this is a huge high barrier to entry.
100%.
Anything else to add?
No, those are all of them, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, make sure if you guys are on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you guys are on Spotify, share this with someone you think will enjoy this episode. As always, thank you for joining. We'll see you next episode.
Thanks, guys.
As always, thank you for joining. Please do us a huge favor and like and subscribe our YouTube channel and share this with a friend. It really means the world to Ron and I, but more importantly, it could help change the life of someone else. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next episode.